Hey, what's up, you guys? Braxton here. Once again, don't mind my face, it's bleeding. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about myself, okay? I think that maybe if you got to know me, you'd want to watch my videos. So, I was born in 1992, which makes me 28 years old. My birthday is October 3rd. I'm a Libra. I am an empath. I feel others' emotions. When I was born, I had a mother, like everyone does, and she was quite the addict. I know that when I was born, there was heroin introduced to my body from her body. You know how it just gets transferred down. So I was born an addict. I was born with heroin in my system. They had to wean it out of me. When I was 3, I was put into a foster home. Okay, well, 2, I was put in a foster home. By the time I was 3, I was transferred into a different foster home, who I now call my parents. They were foster parents themselves, Barbara and John. They had about 27 kids living with them. Out of all those kids, it was me, my sister, my little sister, who's a year younger than me, who's 27. Can't even believe that. She's 27 already. But that's so gross. And then I have an older brother. These are all my biological siblings now. I don't have many biological family members. I have me, my older brother. He's 2 years older than me, so he's 30. And then a little sister, okay? So each of us were introduced to our family today at different times. First, it was my brother when he was 5, and then it was me when I was 3, and then my sister when she was 2. So out of all those kids, my parents decided to adopt all of us. Just me, my brother, and my sister, keep us together, make as a family. Because I think that was the only good choice she's ever made, honestly. I can't say that I had a very good upbringing. I can say my parents tried to do their best, but I don't really understand how they can bring kids from my system to introduce them to a better life, only to make it worse. So basically, I was abused. My brother and sister and I were abused quite a lot. We were made to sleep in a pantry with rats and, where all the food is and stuff. We were not allowed to touch anything in the house, food-wise or anything else. I remember waking up in the middle of the night, going to sneak dog treats. My sister actually caught her doing the same thing because she was hungry. We would eat dog treats, we would sneak milk and bread. Now those two things have a significant part of my life today. I feel like I go through a withdrawal if I don't have milk. So milk's huge for me. So amongst that, we would wake up in the middle of the night, go fill our bellies, and then go back to the pantry, lay down. I guess you wouldn't really call it a pantry because it was a room, but it had all the food in it, and we didn't have a bed. We slept on a mat on the floor. So let me tell you a story. One day, my mom comes home, and she has a dog. This dog's name was Taz. It's her baby. He's part German Shepherd and not Saint Bernard, Black Lab. So he is a pretty big dog. My mother came in and she took the mat from under me. She woke me up and said, "I need that mat." So she's putting this cage together. She takes the mat from under me as I'm sleeping comfortably, and she says, "It's now the dog's." So now I have nothing to sleep on. But this poor dog, good for the dog. It's got somewhere to sleep now. And as soon as the dog went in the crate, it pissed. And what my mom says, she looked right at me, she goes, "He just said piss on you." And that was all she said. I can remember my sister getting bit in the ear by a rat. She is now deaf in one ear. It caused a lot of damage. Basically, my childhood was full of abuse. It was just misery. When my parents would go out to eat with their 2 biological sons, we were not allowed to go. When they would go to the laundromat to wash their clothes, we were not allowed to go. We would have to do them in the tub. If they were not done in the tub, they were not done at all. I can remember growing up and having the messiest room. I mean, stuff piled to the ceiling. I wasn't very good at cleaning then, I can say that. I didn't care much. I was very depressed. I can remember my parents, my father in particular, standing in the hallway saying, if you don't clean this mess, I'm going to stand here and you're not going to get food, you're not going to do anything until it's clean. I can understand why he said that because, you want your kids to have a clean environment. Because for one, if you have company, it sends a bad impression to them, you know what I mean? Hey, I don't take care of my kids, their room's not clean, I don't care. So I get it. And it took us hours to clean that room, but it was me, my brother, and my sister all sleeping in the same room. So it was very, very clustered. It was bad, terrible. Just so many bad things. I have this disorder, it's called dissociative personality disorder. And basically with that comes a terrible, terrible memory problem. And when I say that, I mean like, people joke around and say, and now mostly me, okay? I call myself this to try to joke around and make it funny because it's very stressful. It's hard on my relationship, it's hard with friends, it's hard in an everyday life and a job. But I remember talking to a doctor and she asked me one question that answered everything I had ever wondered about my brain. And she said, with this disorder, do you ever experience lapses of time where you forget things? And I said, oh my God, like, I'm about to cry right now, you know what I mean? I said, well, yeah, I cannot remember things. You can tell me something 3 times and I'm not going to remember it 10 seconds from now. And that's where the 10-second Tom comes in, which, by the way, is a catchphrase from, not really a catchphrase, but like a name from the movie 50 First Dates, which is my wife's favorite movie, with Adam Sandler and I think Jennifer Aniston. So anyways, I got that answered. I realized I do have very bad memory problems. I don't know if it was because I was beaten so bad. I don't know if it was because when I was small, my sister and I were playing outside. My brother, I always wanted to be like my brothers, you know what I mean? Like, I always felt like I was one of the guys. I didn't feel like, hey, my parents had 2 daughters and 3 sons. I felt like they had 4 sons and 1 daughter, which would be my sister, So the one day we were outside playing and I asked my brother to use his rollerblades because I wanted to try riding them. Basically, my sister had gotten jealous and she tripped me and I fell on the sidewalk, and if I shaved my head, in fact, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a scar, I don't know. But so when I fell, there's probably still blood on that sidewalk. I'm guaranteeing it because there was so much. What my parents did, they never took us to the hospital. When we said we were sick or something was wrong, they never, ever tended to us. Like, I didn't know what it was like to be taken care of until I met Kylie. Like, honestly. But when I fell, I had busted the back of my head open. And the only thing my parents did was, so my mom took me inside to the sink, and the butterfly band-aids? She just dabbed my head with a wet towel, get the blood. Just one time. I don't really understand. She just dabbed it and said, Amber, go get me the butterflies, stitch band-aids. And she got them, put it on my head, and that was it. Like, I had a lot of problems because of that. And I don't know if that's where my disorder comes into play, if that's why I have the issues I have. So, I can tell you I didn't have a very good upbringing. I didn't experience love. Nothing, it was so different for my sister, my brother, and I. We all had it different. Those 2 biological brothers of ours, not ours, but of my parents, they got treated so well. In fact, my oldest brother, John, was allowed to stay at home until he was like 30-something. Me, I left home at I think it was 16, 17 years old because I was constantly being abused. My father was just a angry man. And my mom never stood up for herself. Just one time I can remember, and that was when we were still living in Baltimore, Maryland, which is, by the way, guys, that's where I'm from, Baltimore, Maryland. And then we moved to Altoona because my dad had found a job at Newborn Enterprises, where he just recently was made to retire from. When we moved up here, I can honestly say our lives had changed. Drastically, terribly, just changed. And it kills me because I was a happy kid. I was very happy, but I was so depressed because I knew my home life was so bad, and I spent a lot of time around the corner at my best friend's house. Her name's Crystal. but I spent so much time there, and her mom treated me just like her kid. Every holiday there was a problem, there was a fight, I was the issue, and I would leave and go to a friend's house. So one day my parents said, you're not gonna make it out there. You're gonna be a fucking bum. You're gonna be living under bridges. You're gonna be begging for stuff. She didn't have any faith in me. She knew I was gonna be nothing. So, and I'll tell you guys, I'm 28 years old, and my wife has done extraordinary things for us. I do the emotional, I do the cooking and cleaning, I do everything. I tend to her, as much as possible. Probably more than I should, actually, but that's because I love my baby. And the one problem I have is finding a stable job. All I want is to find a stable job, be able to afford things and treat my wife and do things for her because she deserves it. That girl deserves everything. You wouldn't believe how many things she's done for me. And since the incident, you wouldn't call it an incident, since the time where I was sitting on a curb, like my mom had said, she was right. I spent most of my life, under bridges, on people's porches, abandoned houses. At one time I was in this abandoned house with a guy, and he said, he was drunk and he smelled pretty bad, and he said, you can stay here with me as long as, and there were stipulations. So I followed those stipulations. I was cold though, there was no blankets, there was boards, you could see through the boards, you could see through the house, the walls. It was just awful. I don't know, I guess I've just had a very terrible life. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that my life's any worse than yours, because it's not. But I am going to say I haven't had it good. And so I think that's why it's so hard for me, I'm getting emotional, to come up with these videos, because I'm a people pleaser. And I know sometimes a childhood could ruin a person, and I don't know if it completely ruined me or made me better, but I'm such a loving person. And all I want is to give. I mean, if you ask anybody that knows me, I am very giving. I'm very optimistic. I'm very happy. I'll talk to people in the street randomly, in an elevator randomly, like wherever, whatever. I'll compliment people, make them feel good about themselves, because guys, we're all human. There's no reason why we should hate each other and spread hate. So whether you had a bad childhood or not, it's all about how you kind of deal with it, And I don't know, like I'm very nervous in front of the camera because I don't want people to judge me. And I'm trying to do this YouTube thing because this is what I want. I really want to be an actor, honestly. I think I can do it. But I just want to get people's attention and share my story. I am in a book. An author actually reached out to a bunch of transgender people and got their stories and put them in a book. Mine, the book is called Trans 101, and I can honestly say that I portrayed my family in a good way so that the whole world wouldn't think shit of them. And that's what I mean when I say, like, I'm not out to make people look bad. I do have a story and I'm gonna stick to the truth. But if I can make them look better, I will. And since it's in a book and it's public and it was published, and I don't want them to seem like the worst people ever. But I think it's time that people know, I was beat up so much as a kid. I was told so many bad things. I was never listened to. I was told I was a retard and I'd never be anything or amount to anything. And you know what? The only person who's ever really stuck by me is my wife. I can tell you today that I have one best friend who I truly adore, and then I got my wife. And she's everything to me. That girl has patched a lot of wounds that I've had, and she's been there through everything. And I used to not treat her so good, but I've had so much anger in me, and then I was engaged to this girl for 4 years. Well, for 2 years, we were together for 4, and I found out, this is where a lot of my insecurities come. When I found out that she was cheating on me with, cisgender guys, a lot of them. It wasn't just one person. So I would gather my evidence and I'd find out, and then I would confront her. She ruined my confidence, you know. But the second my girl stepped in the picture, we were the bestest of friends, guys. We were so close. I spent a lot of time at her house. She took care of me. And she's like 4 years younger than me. And this girl is so mature and so grown. And she has got the heart of gold, guys. Like, I hit the jackpot when I married this girl. Okay? Nobody's perfect. But I just want to get my story out there and kind of give you guys like a little insight of who I am, because it is hard for me to come up with ideas for videos. I don't really know what to do, and I don't have anyone to be a part of it. And I kind of just feel like an idiot just standing in front of the camera saying a bunch of nonsense. But if you guys want to know any more, please like, subscribe, and share. I would just love to have you guys as a part of my family. If you have any questions, comments, anything, just comment below and I will get back to you guys, I promise. But like, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been 16 minutes. So thank you so much for paying attention to me and just sitting here and listening through this whole thing, because I know it wasn't supposed to come out this strong. I wasn't planning on getting emotional. Just wanted to give you guys a little information about who I am as a person. But basically, I started transitioning about 5 years ago. I did get top surgery. You know, I've showed this in my last video. So I did get that. I'm working on a hysterectomy now. Being a transgender man is the hardest but easiest thing I've ever done, because coming out, I've never lived my life as a female, guys. Never. In fact, my name for so long was Steve, Steve-O, Steven, and anybody could tell you that. A funny story, one day my wife calls me up as I'm in this house. It's like a 3/4-way house. I had just gotten out of jail and they put me in this house for recovering addicts and stuff. Which, guys, I am a recovering addict. It's very hard not to do drugs, but I don't do them. I smoke a lot of weed, and that is why. So, to keep my mind straight. But, so she calls me up one night and says, "What do you think of the name Braxton James?" And she's like, "You can keep your middle name." I was like, "Oh, you know what? Let me just say this out loud real quick." And I said, Braxton Lee James. It's beautiful. It has such a ring to it, and that was my identity. She had named me. My wife gave me the perfect name, and then everything else fell into place. You know, and almost 2 years ago, it was October 29th of 2019, I had gotten my top surgery. Praise the Lord. Sadly, however, I have no way to go to the doctor. It's in Pittsburgh. And so I've been off hormones for a year. That's very hard on me. It's been straining because, you know, I'm not getting the facial hair that I need, and I'm not progressing my body wise and my voice. I feel like it doesn't sound very manly. So guys, I'm struggling just like everybody else, you know, but all we need, especially after 2020, is just a little support. Lots of love and support. Just someone that cares and relates. And if you guys can relate to any of this, please share it. Tell me your story. I want to know everything. You know, I'm an open book. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm out.